Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the feature race at Saratoga on Friday is the Grade 3 Lake George Stakes. 3-year-old fillies going a mile on the inner turf. Before we get to the analysis, head on over to the DRF Saratoga handicapping shop where you'll find PPs, picks, clocker reports, betting strategies, and all the must-have tools to win big at Saratoga. Visit drf.com/spa. Here's the field for the Grade 3 Lake George. It is a big field, but the one they're all going to have to beat is down towards the inside. The number 1 Sweet Melania, never off the board from 7 lifetime starts and just won a graded stake at Belmont.
It's just gotten really good since they switched to the turf as a 2-year-old, Dan, and she came off the layoff last time with a pretty big performance.
Let's start the Timeform US pace projector for this race. I will agree with Timeform US that the 1 Sweet Melania should make the lead. I'm not so sure about that red bar situation. Velvet Crush, the 4, doesn't have to be really close to the pace. Sugar Fix, the 10, has speed, but steps way up in class. I think there's a chance that Sweet Melania can set the pace and at least get a little bit of a breather on the backstretch.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I thought the same thing when I looked at it, Dan. I do expect her to be forward and perhaps right on the lead in this race, but I didn't see a ton of other speed in this spot.
Let's watch Sweet Melania's seasonal debut, her first start since a good third in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf. And in this race, the wonder again, she just got right to the front, and she's putting the field to bed. The 4th place finisher came back to win the Lake Placid with an 87 Beyer speed figure. This is the kind of comeback Todd Pletcher wanted to see. She really was never in any danger at all.
Yeah, I mean, she really wasn't. She came back very sharp off the layoff. And listen, you know, the pace was very rated in there. She got to the lead. She was never really challenged. And, you know, once she got down to the half and 47 and a piece, it was 23 and change coming home. And she never gave that field a chance. But she also looked really good, Dan. And she was good on turf as a 2-year-old as well. And I almost feel like Pletcher waited for this race because I think he probably wants to keep her around a mile. To me, she just looks super tough in this race.
Miss Shaleen, the number 2, is hoping the pace projector's red bar scenario is right. She's a closer. She needs a little bit of pace. I thought she looked okay winning the Honey Rider 2 starts back, a pretty decent in-out trip. Last time out in the Grade 3 Regret, she swung wide into the lane, an even finish in a race that was won by Harvey's Lil Goyle, who came back to run 3rd in the Alabama on dirt with a 95 Beyer. She's kept good company. She's a solid enough filly. She may just need a little bit of luck from off the pace.
Yeah, we'll see if the pace sets up for her. I mean, obviously, she's hoping that the red bar that Timeform US is projecting comes to fruition because she does want to sort of make one run into a race. Thought she ran fine in the Regret, and I actually feel like after watching that race, Dan, that cutting back to a mile could actually help this horse. She did run well 2 back. You know, she's a quality filly, but she is going to need the right trip in here.
She finished ahead of the number 3 Wittez in the Regret. Wittez came back to win over course and distance in this race at Saratoga, a non-winners of one other than for 3-year-old fillies. We see Wittez, the number 6, and the Blue Silks on the outside get a clear run, and she's going to wear them down on the outside to win. 85 Beyer, solid performance. Perhaps she can build on it.
Yeah, she'll have to, I think. Her Regret was not good at all. She actually got a pretty good trip in that race and didn't run well. She bounced back with a better performance here. Did have a solid pace in front of her in this race, Dan, but she was also much the best.
The 4 Velvet Crush drops out of the Coaching Club American Oak. She was simply overmatched in that Grade 1 race on dirt. We're going to show her one and only race on turf. It was at Belmont way back on September the 14th. We're going to see her. She's down on the inside in the pink silks, and she's going to run second. And perhaps what's notable about this race, Mike, is that the 4th place finisher, Antoinette's, turned out to be a pretty good horse. She won the Saratoga Oaks earlier this meet.
The field in this race wasn't bad at all. I thought that Velvet Crush ran pretty well in here. I mean, she got a really, really good ride, I thought, from Manny Franco. He just saved all the ground and found room for her in the stretch, and she put in a little bit of a run. She ran fine. I'll give her a pass for the CCA Oaks last time. Not only was she in too tough, but she totally blew the start and spotted that field several lengths. I would put a line through that race, Dan. I still don't know if it makes her good enough to beat this field.
A horse that has lots of questions to answer as it pertains to distance and class is the 5, My Sassy Sarah, coming off a turf sprint win against New York breds here at Saratoga. Let's watch that race right now. And this was a race that went to closers, but watch My Sassy Sarah, red silks, white noseband on the outside, very confidently ridden. She inhales these leaders and she goes on to a comfortable score. She looks like a filly who's really coming into hand. She was a May foal. Maybe she's just a late developer. She has to prove that she can handle this big step up in class, but she sure looks sharp right now.
Yeah, she does. She was really good winning that race. She's sprinted twice so far this year, Dan. In both of those races, she had fast paces in front of her and she ran well into really good setups. But she's also already shown that she's actually a pretty talented horse. And I'll tell you something, they tried her in a similar kind of spot as a 2-year-old off of 2 sprints in the Miss Grillo last year. And she ran really well in that race. This filly is not out of it by any stretch of the imagination, I don't think. And she's bred to stretch out.
Cat's Pajamas tried to stretch out to the 1 1/8 in the Grade 2 Lake Placid last time out. She was outside in the lane, just a little bit flat. Maybe that race didn't really set up for her. She does have some tactical speed. I think she can work out a trip in the second flight, and she's solid enough from a buyer standpoint. I still think there's some upside here.
I do too. I liked her first 2 turf starts quite a bit. She did not run well in the Lake Placid last time. I sort of wonder if maybe that added distance didn't work for her, and maybe cutting back to the mile will really work for her.
Selflessly is the number 8. Miss Pepina, the 7, is entered main track only. Selflessly ran in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies turf, and I don't think she ran that badly. She had to swing pretty wide into the stretch, and then she flattened out just a little bit. She ran in the Wonder again, her first start off the layoff. She caught Sweet Melania, and she just didn't break very well. This is a Chad Brown trained runner that might be trending a bit under the radar.
Yeah, I think she might be as well. Dan, I'll be honest, I didn't like her that much in the Wonder Again last time. And listen, it's not like she did a ton of running in that race either. But if you watch the headline, she really did go to her knees at the start of that race. And then she raced wide, got a little tired in the stretch. I'm expecting a better performance from her in here. And you know what? You'll probably get a better price too.
Win Racer, the number 9, returned from almost a year layoff to win her North American debut for Jack Sisterson and Stone Street Stables. She came from off the pace to win at Arlington. I think that was a little bit of a questionable field. I liked the way she won. It just came in slow time.
It wasn't the most impressive race. I'm with you. I thought she looked pretty good winning. When you start taking the field apart that she beat, it didn't look like a very strong group. She's going to have to do better than that. If you're worried about class, go back and take a look at her career debut in Ireland last year. She went right to the front and she wired 14 horses. The horse that was second in there, Love, is now the best 3-year-old filly in Europe. She's a really, really good horse, and this horse held her off in the stretch.
Sugar Fix, the number 10, has now won 5 in a row on the turf. She deserves a shot in here, even though she's taking a big step up in class. Let's watch her race earlier in the meet at the Spa, going 1 1/16. She got to the lead. She really had a nice, easy opening quarter, Mike. 25 seconds flat. No wonder she's able to sprint home over New Day Dawning. But she's versatile and she's sharp. She just needs to improve a little bit from a buyer standpoint as she faces some tougher competition.
Right. I mean, there's nothing to knock about her form. She just keeps winning. They're going to step her up here at the right time off the claim, off of several wins in a row. She's just going to have to run a better race against this field.
American Giant, the 11, is going to have to improve, but she is a candidate for improvement. This will be her second start off a 6-month layoff for a really good trainer in Mike Trombetta. They ran her in the Christiana Stakes off the layoff. She passed a few tired horses in the stretch. The third finisher came back to earn a 78 buyer in her next start.
Yeah, I'm going to use this horse somewhere. The post is no bargain for her drawn out in post number 10, especially when you consider that she's going to have to take a big step forward here. But I think she still has upside, Dan. She ran well in the Christiana, I thought. She got held up pretty badly around the second turn in behind horses. Once she got clear in the stretch, she put in a pretty nice run to the end.
Let's throw up our picks for the Grade 3 Lake George Stakes, the feature at the Spa on Friday. Mike, Sweet Melania is simply the horse to beat, and she's going to be forward and right in the thick of things when they turn for home.
Yeah, I just felt like the trip was going to work out for her, and she's just been so good, Dan. I didn't really want to take a shot against her. I respect the horse that you have on top. I'm glad you picked her because I think My Sassy Sarah is interesting, and I also think the 11 is interesting. They're like the two prices I'll use with her.
I'm hoping that my Sassy Sarah can stretch out in distance. She has the pedigree to do so. She just seems like she's in sharp form right now. And I don't think she's going to be one of those stretch out speeds that'll be chasing Sweet Milani and put on a hard chase. I think she'll be sitting back and try to make one run. She'll be a good price. 5132 for me, 12115 for Mike. It's the grade 3 Lake George. It's the feature at the spa on Friday, and it has an approximate post of 5:46 p.m. Eastern. Good luck.